No, that's okay. You're good, Marissa. No worries. Is that it's very important to make sure that we when we come into these meetings, we take off our parent hat and just put on the board hat for what is really important for our community as a whole and our students. Um, I know every decision that I try to make for this school is always a student-centered decision. What is best for our students first, and then for the school community as a whole. So I would just encourage you to kind of take that approach as well when you come and join the team officially, but to take off that parent hat and put on the board member hat and just think about as a whole, what is the important things for our school and how can we help to move this community further along and progress it in the manner that needs to be progressed and support it financially as well. So, but excited to have you, Carla.
Yeah, congrats, Carla.
Welcome.
Think she can technically participate.
Yes, she can technically participate. You can. She absolutely can. She can go off mic and off camera or on camera if she wants.
As long as she accepts duly.
I know. As long as she.
Oh, that's true.
Are you backing out, Carla?
She showed up, so
The salary
She's
might
here.
not meet your expectations, but
Wonderful. Well, we'll give her a few minutes. Thank you, Marissa. I think we're on to the next item then.
yes, we are. All right, so I will turn over to Heather to give the administration team's report.
Okay, so actually we're gonna change it up a little bit. I typically do operations, but we actually have an official operations director. So Mr. Steven has moved over in roles. And so I'm gonna let him share the operations side of things right now.
Thank you, Ms. Heather, and thank you to the board for your trust. Like I said, when I got the position, I love this community and what we're doing, and I'm happy to be able to continue to help in this new role. So I've only been in the role for about 5 days now. So I'm going to be really brief with just some remarks, but I want to highlight some of the work that our teams are doing. Everybody has been very supportive as we've kind of taken on this new challenge. I have a couple really cool announcements. The first one comes from our base department. I'm excited to be able to say tonight that Camp Lakewood is going to come back next summer. That's our wonderful summer camp program. Signups for that will start in late January. Ms. Courtney is going to communicate more information to our community when we come back from a winter break. Additionally, we're going to have a spring break camp this year. So that was something we've requested a lot, so we're really excited to be able to announce those early so that plans can be made. Our facilities team has done a absolutely wonderful job of recovering after Milton. An extension of that is all of the parents and the community members who came out to help as well. I know Heather in her kind of remarks echoed that right after the storm, but it was such a positive experience to see not only our team, but our parents, our community members all coming out because of how special the school is. So they've done a fantastic job. And then the other thing that I am responsible for is IT. So the update there is we had a really great meeting with OCPS today. They were fantastically supportive of some of the things we want to do to try and streamline some of our business processes, to make our staff's life a little bit easier. So I'll get to talk a little bit more about that in the coming months and how that's done. That's all I've got.
Thank you. I'm gonna speak for the principals tonight. Elementary side, they are working extremely hard. I think things have just been a little bit crazy with Milton and then just some changes among staff, but I truly have to take my hat off to Kathy and Eileen. They're working extremely hard right now through some changes. One big thing coming up in elementary world next week, so November the 20th is our community night. We were supposed to have that in October and plans changed after the hurricane. So it will be at 6 p.m. So for our elementary parents, we hope that you come out and learn lots of great things about Montessori. Secondary, same thing. They are working together. John and Leanna doing a great job of getting into classrooms and just, right now, some students are squirrely, so working through that. But their big thing next week is Fall Fest and Community Day is next Friday. So, that's something that's ran by the students and, I think last year when I first observed it, it was pretty neat to see. Also a big shout out to PTO for the Fall Festival. Unfortunately, I was out of town, but I have heard that it was, wonderful, that the facility, and I know they'll talk more about it, but just the way the community came out was a great location. So truly support or appreciate all of their support and working to kind of better our school through families and students and staff. I had an opportunity to go to Clark Montessori High School. And so I'm not gonna go into, I just trying to process all of it and met with the administrator. We had our administrative meeting today. We're gonna start looking at some of their model. But I did put a link there for you all to just share. It was something that I think Alicia was in my office and I'm like, I'm gonna find another secondary program. Started researching. Clark Montessori was the first secondary in the world.
Yep.
Been here for 30 years. And I just so happened to decide I was gonna go visit my daughter in Kentucky and made a little hour drive up to Cincinnati and
Oh,
got to
cool.
spend Friday with them. And it was really, it was exciting to see it after 30 years and all of the things that they're doing. And I do believe, while we have a lot of great things, I think we can take some of that, what they've already learned
Yeah.
through their mistakes and help us with our secondary program and what we offer students. So I'm excited about that. So you'll start to hear
Awesome.
more about that as we dive into that.
They're run by the district
Yeah.
school there, right? They're not a charter school.
No,
Yeah.
they're a district ran school. They have 6 elementary Montessori schools in their district and then 3 secondary programs.
Oh,
That's
And
impressive.
so, it was really, really neat to see how they've grown. It was started actually by some teachers.
Yeah,
And then through that process, they have about 750 students
across all of those.
across 7 through 12.
Yeah.
Of that one school of Clark.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they have, you're talking about inside the district, they have that many Montessori schools.
Yes.
Separate from Clark.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So it was exciting to
Pretty cool.
see and
Mhm.
lots of great ideas and scheduling and opportunities for our secondary students and I'm excited to see where we can grow. As far as goal updates, you know, the biggest one that we are focusing on this year is MTSS. And, you know, I have to give a shout out to our MTSS coordinator, Francis. They are working, extremely hard and, developing a solid system. To be honest, they have kind of taken that and ran with it. And I'm very thankful to have them on our team. They just had, their first round of meetings last week with the elementary staff and working through the tiers and the data and all of that fun stuff. We did hire a staffing specialist at the secondary campus. And so she started yesterday and has a wealth of knowledge and was currently a staffing specialist for OCPS. So it's been really nice having her on staff and helping us with our secondary location. So that's kind of where we're at in our goals overall. I did share with you all the 5-year plan on goals. It's all academic based. I've uploaded that yesterday. It was something that I submitted to OCPS for the state review, but looking at where we currently are and planning that for the next 5 years. So you'll be able to see that. Granted, this is just one piece. This is just the academic piece based off of state data. And we know that there's so much more that we offer here, but this is, you know, around our state goals. And so you can kind of see the strategies that we're already working through for our action plan is listed for this year and then where we want to be in 5 years as far as all of the core content areas and ESE for the next 5 years. And I think that may be it. I shared on that. I've got so many things open here. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at as far as overall, updates and on the administrative side.
Can you talk a little bit more about what the staffing specialists will do? I see this as like your number 2.
Oh, yeah. So staffing specialists, they schedule all of our 504 and IEP meetings.
Okay.
And they help the ESC teachers develop the IEPs, ensuring that we're in compliance. They run all of the meetings. And so we had one at the secondary and they're no longer with us. So we were able to hire
Okay.
a new staff specialist. We
Got
do have a couple of openings right now, and that's something that we're working through. So if you know of anybody that wants to come and teach, we do have a couple openings. We have an ESE teacher over at the secondary campus and then upper elementary teachers here. So
Hey, sir, Heather, did we get those posted somewhere else besides Indeed by chance? Do you know?
yes, Alicia, I think you're on here, but you know how we thought we could just do through LinkedIn and all of that kind of stuff? They have changed that process now.
Mm.
So I think she was able, Alicia, can you share a little bit more what you found?
Yeah, we do have it posted on LinkedIn. It's just that we have to have it, we can only post one at a time free. So I don't have both the openings that we have listed on there. We have the upper elementary teacher position. We also have it posted on IMC through I think Kathy's account. She's able to post on the Montessori site. And then of course we're using the Indeed as well. We link to our Indeed through the website. So we do have our jobs page, and then we list some things about, kind of working with us and things like that. And then we link to Indeed where somebody can submit their resume there.
Okay.
How much does it cost to post them, to post the different ones?
It varies. So they prefer that we do like a limit. So we'll say, $500 for 5 days, and then it fluctuates within that amount over that span of time. But when I set a limit, it went over the limit. So it would be something to kind of really work out with them as to exactly what they're going to charge, because we don't want it to, go way outside what we're expecting to pay. I do have a meeting. We have a meeting on Thursday to meet with, since we're with Paylocity right now, they have a recruiting program where it says that they'll post the jobs to like 20,000 different sites. So we can kind of get more information about what that entails.
Do
Okay,
we
so I was
have
just pulling up the LinkedIn and I don't see is it underneath of our Innovation Montessori?
It's
Do we
through
have-
mine. It's not through IMO.
Oh, okay. So we can't even on our actual LinkedIn page with the IMO, we can't post any jobs there. Do we need to upgrade that? I just think it would get more traction if it's on the one there that everybody can share out versus an individual account.
Yeah, well, I sent the link, I think, to Heather to be able to
Okay.
share through there. I'm
Okay.
not sure I know she was out of town, so
Oh, that's fine.
yeah.
I can search you and then potentially find it and then share. Or could we
Yes.
share it on the IMO page too? Can you take
Yes,
that?
we can share that one too. Yeah.
That might be good. So if you can just, because I've got it pulled up right now and there's nothing there. So if we could post it on that page just as part of a post, right? Like, and then that way when somebody's going to it, they would be able to find the connection and we might be able to, and then the board can share it on theirs. 'Cause, we have we're just extending the reach, right? So any way that we can extend the reach on who we can possibly, connect with, it would be great. Is it costly for us to have it on what's the LinkedIn? Is that like
The LinkedIn fees were the same in terms of just it varies by like how much they market it out and the limits that you set on it. And then some of the Montessori sites were like 50 cents a word or something like that for the ads. So they all kind of vary in terms of
Okay.
cost, which is why I was looking to try to find like a blanket program that would really push it out to a bunch of places for
Yeah.
one fee.
Okay.
Because I
Should we
could
look
see
at
it
getting
if we,
like a school-wide account, so we are able to post jobs and such, like on LinkedIn?
we do have a school account on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we do have a
Good.
school
Yeah, I
account.
think though, Alicia, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is for example, when she looked into posting, it's like $500 for 5 days. Like it's something crazy, like she did,
Yeah.
we bumped up and it was, I think $160 like in a week or something for just even there for a while for Indeed because they started charging. Yeah, so if we could find a way that it wasn't so expensive.
Yeah.
You know.
Where, do we have any idea of like how we've had success in getting past teachers to apply? Is there any understanding of?
I think and again, they can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's things like they'll share out to different Montessori groups. We found them that way. Of course, Indeed has been another way,
Okay,
a lot of word of mouth,
yeah,
those sorts of things.
Do we connect with like colleges with educational programs,
Yeah,
like
it's
professional services?
It's hard though, which I think we're gonna have to start looking at that is because they're so far different than Montessori,
Yeah.
but I think we're gonna have to start reaching out. We do get, and I have been looking at it, we get like daily emails from the state when people become certified to
Yeah.
see if people are in our area. But you know, that right now is not as many as you would typically see in a summer.
Right.
Yeah.
Stephen, can we add a careers tab to our school website that will post any openings or that just contain any openings that we have and the links to apply for those? Like
We have that already.
we have
It's
that
just
is
not at the top of the website. It's at the, like, under the picture.
okay.
The, yes, Stacy, and we could probably make that more prominent. But when I look at our website traffic and the analytics behind it,
Yeah.
as a job seeker, like when I got hired, right? I was not looking at Innovation Montessori saying, what are they hiring for?
Yeah.
I found you through Indeed, through other job sites. So
Right.
if you're trying
Right.
to look external to the community, you need those external resources.
Absolutely. All right. I'm just looking at the website now. It's at the bottom, you said?
It's right underneath.
It's in the middle there.
Middle. It
Oh,
says,
join our team. Join our team. Is that what it is?
yeah.
But I think you're
Welcome,
right, Stephen, like
browse current.
nobody's coming to our site looking for jobs, and I'm sure that's not showing up in any like search engine results anywhere.
I don't think so. What I do think
For
is
jobs.
when you go to Indeed and you want to do your research on who you're applying to,
Yeah.
I do think the website then sells
Sure.
our culture, but I just, the data is mostly parents looking for updates and that kind of stuff.
Can I post the Indeed link to the LinkedIn page?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
I think you can.
I'm gonna try. We'll see. Why not? Okay. All right. Thank you. I found it. That's all I just was trying to clarify and just make sure that we're using all our avenues to try to get, quality talent in. So appreciate you guys.
Was there like a cost that we had in mind that we would take to spend on some of this?
Well, I think what we were gonna do is see what Paylocity had to offer on Thursday. And then kind of make a decision at that point of how much is that gonna cost? Like,
Yeah.
do they have a platform that houses all of those and we pay them a fee, or do we have to pay everybody separate?
Yeah.
So that was kind of gonna be our determining to see what they had to offer first.
I'd be even if you weren't looking specifically for hiring like recent grads, I'd be interested to talk to those kind of career offices to see if there are any boards, like if it was a million years ago when I graduated, but I feel like there was like a local teaching board where you could look and they had all of the postings and that was how we found teaching jobs in the area. So there's gotta be something like that.
I know Alicia talked a little bit about some career fairs, but I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, Alicia, that you didn't have much luck out of that.
Yeah, in general, we haven't had that much luck at them. From what I understand, we did attend one when I first kind of stepped into this role. And we have also reached out to the local universities, and that hasn't really, developed much of a relationship either. And we did, I think that when we did, maybe Valencia, UCF, I think directed us to maybe reaching out to some of the sororities and things like that, and fraternities. But
Yeah, probably wouldn't be graduating certified teachers, right? Would they be?
Valencia, I'm not sure, but they,
Three?
if they have bachelor's
Okay.
degrees and they are, in
Oh,
a
okay.
subject area or something along those lines, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll keep you updated what we hear.
Okay.
and go from there. I think the other thing I have on there is the out of field teachers. As you may recall, each quarter we have to update our list and then post it on the website of staff who are out of field. That also includes our ESOL certification. So the list that you have are the teachers who currently do not have that certification. So I just need the board to approve that.
And
Heather, one
Okay.
one question, sorry, Marissa. Are, how are we doing the tracking to ensure that their hours are being completed? Is that something Alicia's working on, like behind the scenes? Is that just to
Yeah.
ensure that they're working towards those certification hours over the time frame?
Yes. Alicia, you,
Yes, all of their hours are tracked through so there are the hours that they get through OCPS are tracked through in-service, and so we're able to monitor through there. Also the on-campus PD that everybody does. I get the attendance for those and then enter them into Canvas now. They've created that system, so it's all tracked in that as well. And we're working with them on making sure that we want to try to include like the Montessori training and things like that in the PD. And so we're in communication with OCPS right now about that. The certification specialist that we work with through OCPS also keeps track of the PD points as well, and she'll communicate with us about those things too.
Is there any process in place for teachers or people not making required progress that is needed or reaching the deadline by the set date? Do we have any situations like that?
Currently, no, I don't think so. In the past, they would, reach out to us and we would communicate with the employee and make sure that they're signing up for the next trainings that were available and just communicating that back with OCPS.
Awesome. Thank you, Alicia.
You're welcome.
I'm okay to go ahead and make the motion to approve the out of field teachers that are provided as a list so that they can continue to support and serve our students.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Heather? That
No.
wraps us up.
I
All right.
just had a quick question. Were we gonna hear about, how the progress is going with the CASA building and when we may be looking
that's a
to
good
get
point.
those students back?
Sure, I can speak to that for just a minute. So we have had it's been a process.
Yeah.
Right? We've had a certified mold tester come out because again, we want to, Heather and I's commitment is that building has to be 100% safe before we ever return a student to it. I'm pleased to say that report came back. There is absolutely no contamination in the building. So now we are going through, Heather and I are working through the next steps of how to get those students back in that building as quickly as possible. Although I love having them in the NPR, they are absolutely wonderful, and it is a joy to see them. I know that they want to be back in their space and their home. So I am incredibly optimistic that we will get them back in there in time for them to come back in January.
Assuming we went forward with insurance.
Yeah, that was my
claims and
question.
all that to handle the damages from that building plus whatever else.
yep. So Lily has been our point of contact with that. So Lily, do you want to share where you're at with that?
Yes, hi everyone. So the insurance, we had our first adjuster come out right after the hurricane to do a walkthrough of all the buildings, elementary, primary, and high school. She went back and sent everything to our insurance company, which They review everything and then they get their own engineers and whatnot to look over whatever they were able to get in any files that we sent. At the moment, we have another meeting coming up or another engineer coming out on Monday to do another walkthrough of the building. We had one come out this week as well. Actually, no, last week on Thursday. And it's just more of an investigative process. They want to make sure they have all the details, and because of the damages that the hurricane brought to not only Florida but also Georgia and North Carolina, the process is pretty lengthy. So we're looking at several weeks of them coming back and telling us what they're going to cover, how things look like. And so we just got to be patient with that.
Do you guys think we have any risks with the damage that we had in that building in terms of them being willing to cover the cost of that?
That's so hard
Um,
to tell.
At this point,
Yeah. But, I think it's hard. At first I was like, oh, it's gonna be, great. And then, I think what we have to make sure we say is it didn't flood. Water came into
Water
the building.
Water intrusion.
Yeah, and so I think that's the biggest thing is just ensuring that. I honestly don't, they haven't indicated either way.
yeah.
So, I'm prepared both ways.
I also didn't know if they were like investing or looking into how the water come in.
Yeah.
Is there any liability, like who would be responsible for that? And
Yeah. Stephen did walk through with, is it Caldwell?
Yes, so we got in touch with Caldwell Engineering. They had done some work, they sent an electrician out here. So we have determined that the water 100% beyond a reasonable doubt came in through electrical conduit that was buried when they did the construction. Because we had a 100-year rain event. And because the slope of the property goes from the road line down towards the wetlands in the back, that creates a natural watershed. So water just flows. So every bit of the water that intruded into the building was groundwater. It was not flood water.
yeah,
We have since capped 3 of those conduit lines. So this can never happen again. Caldwell came out and they gave us a plug for the last line. So we're gonna, Mr. Tito is going to order that and install that. That way we make sure this does not happen again. We also looked at the other lines and I don't see any other risks in the future at this point.
what else beyond the building there are you guys considering covering with insurance? Was there?
So, of course, the
property
tree
damage?
removals. So, the parents did great on the one, but we still had to have the other one
Big one,
removed and
yeah.
that. Fencing, we had to do
Okay.
that. We, elevator, there was some electrical things with that we're looking at. We did have a couple of, spots on the roof in this building, and so we had them to look at that. I think what else on this campus? Maybe on this campus.
Did we make claim on the other campus too?
Yes, so
Is that a
on the
separate
other
claim?
campus, we had the logo to come off the building. We also had an area in the stairwell. Over, if you're looking at the building to the left side, that had water coming in, but it was so weird. It wasn't coming from the roof line, it was coming through where the stairwell is. And so had water coming down through there.
It just in the stairwell?
Mhm. We did have water
Where
to.
did that damage?
It
Isn't
just,
that just concrete?
yeah, it's just concrete. It didn't damage anything,
Okay.
but just had it all documented. We did have a couple classrooms that had some leaks that came from the roof, and so we had them to look at that. We did have water to come in through the front door near Miss Cindy's office, and it came in through there and got into her office. So that as well.
Is that a separate claim or is it all kind of?
It's also one
claim?
together, but it's, well, so our way our insurance is, of course, we have insurance for this build, like each building is individual, but we just filed it all together. But that's why last week they came to the secondary building And then Monday they come to this.
We don't have to
campus.
pay 2 deductibles and
Mhm.
you guys have like an itemized list of all your
Yeah.
costs at this point and what you're
Yeah.
expecting to get reimbursed on to.
Yeah, Lily has kept
Know what
all
our
of that.
expenditure
She's
is.
kind of coded it separately, so we'll know, because we've already had to pay some vendors
Yeah,
already. So yeah, we've already kept all that. We also have an itemized list of all of the equipment, furniture, manipulators, all that kind of stuff over from the primary building as well. So yeah, we've kind of listed all of that out. We have all of the pictures, all the videos, all saved. We've sent that to the adjuster, but also have it for us. So yeah, so Lily's done a great job of making sure all of those things that we're paying for up front is coded a certain way so we can just pull it automatically with all the receipts.
Cool.
So yeah. But yeah, so hopefully by the next board, and probably I'll inform you all as soon as I hear, even before the next board meeting of, hey, here's where we're at.
were we able to fundraise the money to cover the donation fully?
Yeah.
Or the
We did.
deductible?
We raised $11,500,
That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
which was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. And like 8,000 of that came in like 48 hours.
Yeah.
I did apply, Advent Health, they had, a parent had recommended them. I applied, unfortunately, I got the email actually yesterday that we were not eligible for that. But they did give me another contact name that I'm just gonna send the information to
Like a
see.
grant?
Yeah, it's like a grant.
send it to me.
Okay, yeah. And so, but they just said unfortunately it doesn't meet their criteria, but they would possibly recommend somewhere else.
Yeah, and I did get the ball rolling on the FEMA grants portal for us, so,
That's
so
what
we've
I've been
applied,
after.
we've been registered as,
Mhm.
as a nonprofit, and we've got our portal all set up, so, Lily is gonna let me know once we get the insurance claims in, and then we can, because this will be for things that weren't covered by insurance.
Yeah.
Maybe
So we
FEMA can help make up some of the gap.
right, so we can, so we're all good to go, we've got all the paperwork in, and then as soon as we've got that information, then we can follow up with those, like, or with that, with those grant applications.
Fun stuff.
Oh, yeah. Lots of fun.
Now there's like early forecasts of something
No,
coming
not
through the
even
state
talking
next week. I'm
about
like,
Yeah.
it's freaking
Not even.
almost Thanksgiving. It can't be happening.
Because I don't think I can go 4 more days without electricity.
Oh, no.
You haven't bought a generator yet?
No, my husband keeps on to me about that one.
You'll buy one and then you'll never need to use
I
it.
know, that's
Yeah.
exactly right.
So I-
Absolutely.
Okay, so do we have Karen on? We've got the PTO update next on the list for our agenda. Hey, Karen.
Hey,
Hey.
let me see if I can get video. All right. So I do have a lovely list of things to share. We have been undeterred by the challenges with weather. We have made plans and we have been flexible and changed plans and, all the fun that we've all been challenged by. So we finally had Fall Fest. I'm so thankful. Thank you, Heather, for saying what you said. I have heard from many people that they had a great time. And it really was a lovely venue. I call it a boutique agritourism place because it's just this quaint, cute little farm that has so much for kids to do and for families to connect. And so it was lovely. So we did finally get to have that. It was a long time coming. We have also held a couple coffee connects for our secondary 2 parents and guardians. We have been able to hold one of our parent connects for our primary and elementary parents, and the second that we had for our second quarter is rescheduled for weather, of course. So we're hoping to have that rescheduled for December 5th. So everybody cross fingers and toes that it goes off. It's our probably most at Wakiowa Springs, and Sarah is leading that one for us. Let's see, we've enjoyed 3 spirit nights and we have another one coming up. They are lovely fundraisers, but even more, they're great for families to get together and have dinner after school or after activities and so forth. So that's always nice. At Fall Fest, I wanted to mention that we did sell 699 tickets So I think it was pretty good for an end of fall, and having been rescheduled, we were pretty pleased. Gardening days are continuing at both campuses and going really well, especially post Milton. Our book fair was canceled. I'm glad to hear that we might be getting the NPR back sometime in the near future, but it won't be fast enough for us to hold a book fair on campus. And so we pivoted, and we're still celebrating and honoring and empowering our kids to build their skill with literature. We created an event with a local librarian who is a parent at our school. We created Together We Read, a family reading event. That's going to be on the 20th at West Oaks Branch Library. And it's in the afternoon after school. It's a drop-in, come for the whole time, get a library card for your children, go on a scavenger hunt, play games, find a book. It's just something to celebrate reading and to encourage that. We do have Winterfest coming up soon. It's on Friday, the 13th of December, and it's our student maker market, and it's for all ages, including our littles. And then we added the chili cook-off to that event too, just so that we can still have it and compete. And we've got a good number of people that are competing, a good number of chefs, but we need more. So everyone, please don your chef's hat and get your best recipe for cornbread, vegetarian chili, or chili, and come to that. And enjoy. And I'm going to try and sneak in a little bit of snow. I have a couple snow machines. So I'm hoping to do something fun for the kids there. And then last thing, we did get our a new date for the athletics fundraiser. It's going to be on January the 25th. It remains the Family Stride, Ride, and Bounce Challenge. And it'll be at Lakewood campus. So thank you. Thanks everybody for all the support.
Thank you, Karen.
All right. So that takes us to our financial update.
So I guess I'll share. Kevin, you can jump in anytime that you wish. So I did upload 3 documents. And I just want to kind of preface it with, on the profit and loss versus budget that I shared with you. I, to be honest and to be very transparent, we had our finance meeting and found several mistakes. So, worked with Building Hope to try to get those cleaned up. So what I would like to do is we'll share some of the stuff, but then our actual true deep dive would be next month. Because also we did just get our voucher for November, which includes our new FTE numbers. I just got that today. So I have a feeling that I will be coming to the board with us to revise our budget next month anyways.
So we do not have a scheduled
Okay.
December meeting. Is
So
that a
then we can do
problem?
January.
Okay.
No, it'll be fine. Because honestly, I'm pleased to say that our budget numbers are, what I see on the voucher is gonna be pretty clear to what we already have, so
Okay.
good. So the first document I did share with you all is just I wanted to share was the bond report. So with the bond, every quarter I have to send financial statements along with our enrollment, wait list, those kind of things. And then yearly, you'll see this report is what I have to submit for them to kind of recap last year. So they want to know our school grades. They still have it broken up by K-8 and then high school, because when we started the bond, we had 2 charters. I did speak with them and they're gonna change our document for next year where it just says K-12. So you'll see like the high school grades are the same as K-8, but that's because we no longer get 2 separate scores for that. It also shows enrollment at all of the grade levels, and then also a trend since back to 2020, our percentage and change of enrollment. To kind of help track to see, what grade level are we falling off and or adding kids. And that's also for preschool. And then you can see our wait list, and then our retention are the kids who were with us last year that came back this year. And we do that every year as well. So I just kind of wanted you all to see the annual report that we submit for the bond. Sorry.
Is there any concern with the moving to K-12 for our school grades? Have you guys kind of like looked at that and mapped out in relation to the K-8 grades?
No, I don't think so. You know, as we talked about when we looked at if we just are talking just state scores, we knew going in that math is an area of concern. And so that just was reflected here. So that's why our action plan shows that. And math was an area of concern, not just at elementary or not just at secondary, with both. So, no, I haven't really seen and then the principals may have a different concern, but on as far as data, looking at that, as far as state reporting, that I see a concern with merging those.
Like Stacy's, your question, like, would it cause like an overall decrease in the?
Yeah, that's my concern, right? Like, are we
okay,
going
that's
to
the problem.
decrease in our school grade because we're moving from K-8 from separate scoring models to a combo scoring model?
Does the aggregate weigh us down?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at the year before compared to last year, which was a change, our grades stayed the same. You know what I mean? But I don't
Yeah.
know. I know what you're saying. I haven't broke it apart enough to see. I know we were like, and I don't know if John's still on here or Kathy, we were like 1 point away, I think, at the elementary level from an A.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 3, Heather, I think at secondary. So really there's much of a muchness between both campuses. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no logic that says 2B's equal to C, right?
Yeah. No, I haven't seen, like, everything that I've broken apart with test scores, I haven't seen that, but that doesn't mean, I mean, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But with the way, if you look at the data, like, it wasn't like, oh, secondary outperformed elementary or elementary outperformed. They were neck and neck with each other.
Yeah.
Where that.
I just didn't know if it would change, like, even our percentiles with like populations, right?
Yeah.
Like if you look at your ESC population or your low income population where you're getting double dinged on scores per se, how that's affecting that end result. Just something I thought about. I'm like, oh, I don't know how that would impact us if there was some sort of other boxes there that are going to make it, make it where it's like, oh, we're gonna go down a grade because of this or something. So
You know, I understand. Well, I mean, the only thing I could see that it doesn't, I guess you would have to look at each demographic
Yeah.
individually. And I mean, the only one that I've really done was ESE. Our free and reduced is what, 19%. So, I mean, it's still there, but I think our ESE population is probably our largest demographic when I look at, like, as far as that. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely something we can look at.
yeah, put on your radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That part. And we'll start second round of testing soon. So, here's for me, it's about growth. Like, that's my
Mhm.
overall, probably more than just a score is are our students growing? And so that's what I really want as administrators to focus is about all kids growing, no matter what level they're at. Because, sometimes we tend to look at one population over another, but I want all kids to grow. So that will be my main focus, when we finish up in January, is what was that growth score like? And making sure that kids are moving in the right direction.
Progress, not perfection. I like it.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to share that with you, just so you kind of get a glimpse of what we share annually. We will have coming up soon the bond investor call. I need to get with Richard Marino on that because that's something that he will lead. So that has to be done once a year as well.
Make sure you put that, just send me a calendar invite when that is so I can attend.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Kevin and I had hoped to share with you the official report, but they haven't sent it. And so Kevin, I'm gonna rely on your memory as well. We did meet with Moody's today, which is, the bond company that, kind of reviews all of our documents and data. And he gave us a report, but unfortunately in the beginning of it, it has a different school's name. So, he was supposed to correct that. So I can definitely share that with you. Kevin, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, it was unfortunate that there were these minor typos in this proposed press release they had, which is pretty rare. I think he was pretty embarrassed by it, frankly. But um, the upshot of what they will be releasing, it's now past the period in which we can make any further comment on it, is that our rating isn't changed, but our outlook's going to improve, which is a good thing. So um, they were very complimentary of the work that Heather has done. We're all aware of it. We've seen it happening over the past year. We've seen the numbers improving. Heather and I are disappointed that the financials that had been produced for us were not accurate enough for us to really talk about in depth tonight. And we'll have some decisions to make with respect to that. But as far as our performance on IMO's side of the table, are the folks whose job it is to evaluate our ability to pay our debts. They're pleased with what we're doing. So I think that when that press release does become final and is available, we'll send it out and you'll see some positive commentary there. There's always risk factors that are identified in those releases, and they're not things that'll surprise you. They recognize that enrollment is important to the continued viability of the school. Well, we already know that. They recognize that continued responsibility with the way we're staffing and those kinds of things is important, but we already know that. So overall, good news. And if you have any questions about it once it comes out, I'm sure that Heather can address them. I can help her with that.
It's excellent.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yes, it's been nice having Kevin to be able to talk to me about these things, because there's some things, like I say, when they talk, I'm like, I don't know what that means. So I have to Google a lot and hope that it's right. The other thing that I did share, and again, I think Kevin said it, and I said it earlier, is some of our reporting wasn't accurate. So I'll go ahead and share with you the bond ratio that was for as of
Is that a building hope problem?
So hopefully, the debt service ratio for last month was 1.82, and then our days cash on hand was 67. So
That's great.
yeah. So we are,
From like 12 to 67, that's pretty good.
yeah.
1.82 is pretty strong.
Yeah, and I think, if I remember correctly, I'm just gonna rattle numbers off, but I think that was something Moody's was like to keep it up above a 1 point, was it 4, I think, and then, they want 100 days cash on hand, but I mean, they were still.
You'll get to 100 and then they'll say it'd be great if you had
Yeah.
150.
150, yeah.
1,000 days.
Yeah.
Isn't there a time period where our 45 days does increase? in
I
the-
thought that, but no,
It doesn't?
stays. Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
But
It already
honestly,
increased. There was an increase, but that's after the increase.
yeah.
Yeah.
So 45 is the
Yeah.
what we need to be at from the
Yeah, but if you look at what Moody's wants, no, that's just.
But our-
minimum.
but our bond
Yeah.
requirement.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they want that to hopefully lift the rating on the bonds, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they want
Yeah.
to see that so that they can outperform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they just talked about factors that could lead to an upgrade, and it was improvement to over 100 days cash on
Yeah.
hand. Oh, and then the debt service, a trend of debt service ratio of 1.5. So yeah, so that, like I said, so in January, then we will bring back to you probably, I want to make sure maybe are any ways that we revisit our budget and make sure that we are projected of where we need to be and make any changes that we need to make them as far as moving from one account to the other. And then hopefully by then too, our reports will be straight or some decisions will be made, and then we can.
I was gonna say, do you guys have continued confidence in that relationship and service that we're getting, or is that waning?
It needs to be fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody will fix it.
At some point, I think Dana had come here and they were gonna be like sort of regular participants in this process with us, providing and speaking on behalf of this stuff, and I don't think we've ever seen them again since then, so.
No, that was part of our agreement, yes.
As many other things.
Yeah,
Mm.
so we're just looking at options.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we looked at some other
We
options
did.
back in the
Yeah,
early days, so
yeah.
there are other people that do this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Alicia, Lily and I have researched and we have a spreadsheet and we have just started contacting people and just gonna look at all of our options.
have you taken it to Richard?
Yeah, well, yes, he's aware.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Probably, probably could go back, but at this point,
Yeah,
One of the things when it comes to cleaning up whatever the mess is, we're going just back to July, August, and September. I was able to meet with the direct person that deals with the accounts. I actually had a meeting with her this morning. We went over October and finally, both of us were able to come to an actual compromise of how things should really look. Up until now, we had never really been able to do that because everything was being run with Dana and Kevin. So she's now doing the month end for October based on the reports I gave her. And then we're going to start backtracking the previous months. And hopefully we can get that all straightened out by the end of December.
Hmm.
Thank you, Lily.
that's it for mine.
Okay. All right, so that takes us to committee updates. Well, before we go there, we have our 24-25 board goals. So just to kind of run through that and talk about what's coming next. So we have a goal of a strong set of board members between 6 to 8. So we just gained a new one tonight, which is great. And then we have some feelers out there. We got Sarah interested, and I posted on LinkedIn, also in Parent Square, to see if we have any other interested candidates. I think, and maybe we can talk for a second about like the timing of that. We don't have a meeting in December, so probably looking at January of kind of scheduling any interested candidates for interviews.
I have another.
Yeah, I think
Posted as well.
Okay.
So I did send the posting to her also.
Excellent. Is that you, Stacy?
Yeah, I was just saying, I think that, we might be able to like just pull together some sort of list to maybe potentially interview either after our board meeting in January, before the February one, if we have some space there to then, get that all, maybe add, look at a potential addition of one more board member in February. If we can get some other candidates and do interviews maybe after our January meeting, that would be a good goal.
any pre-screening we need to do,
Oh, that's true. Sorry. Yes.
let me know too.
I can, yep, I will link up individuals
Mm-hmm.
to have discussions before that. I don't, anything else, looking at our goals, Stacy, that we want to talk through? It says monitor and support IMO's stable financial outlook.
No, I am super excited to have Stephen kind of take a little bit of the role of the director position there. I think that that's going to be a big help to just hopefully give Heather some needed bandwidth to, continue to have the academic focus as well. So I think that we're moving into a place where we're getting the delegation and the support team is getting, stronger, and roles are being identified, and it will enable the admin team to really kind of dive in and do what they were hoping to do in the, and focus in on the academics. So I'm excited to see some of those positions get identified and supported. So
Yep. I did, just to kind of close the loop on an action on Edith Bush. They will only post board openings if we are a member.
We
So.
were a member at one point.
we're not paying for it
Retroactive.
anymore. Yeah,
Does that cost?
it was
That-
expensive.
Yeah, I don't think it's cheap.
$1,000 or
No.
maybe, was it?
I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, it's not like.
We used to have a budget for the board, Brett, remember? And so and then we're like, we can't afford a
Right,
budget for the
paying for board
board, so
docs.
we're gonna just pull that away.
Brett's other right to cut that out.
That may be next.
Yeah.
Google Docs.
Next time I've got those.
Oh, goodness. So,
All right, anything else there?
so we're on track. We're sticking with it. Yeah, we've got just looking at the cross training going on. We could probably maybe even get Carla looped up. I mean, she's with the committees, but just to get some, different viewpoints of just insight there. So I'll touch base with her and see if we can get some time set aside before February to kind of just touch base on some of the things that we've been doing.
Okay. And that reminds me, there's a bunch of Carla actions.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
Carla.
Yeah, so there will be background checks and all that, Carla. So I'll be in touch with you as well as
And
right.
trainings.
Yep.
Fingerprinting.
Your ability to speak ever again outside of sunshine.
And Alicia, I'll need your help on it's my first time, but I know Alicia knows the process as well.
Happy to help.
Thank you. All right, anything else before committee update?
Good.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah, we go first.
Sure.
Yeah, so first, we are definitely recruiting for grant writers. So if anyone hears of anyone who maybe is looking for volunteer opportunities that are a little more flexible or a little, home-based and likes to write, please send them my way. Like we talked about before, we've been working on the post-hurricane stuff. I've been researching to see what grants we may be eligible for there. And we've got some that we'll be waiting to apply for. Additionally, and this was actually outside of the formal grant subwriting committee, but I had to give a shout out to Jennifer Walker, who applied for this St. John's Water Management District grant. They're looking to set up a wetlands ecosystem area over at the high school, and she received a $3,800 grant to go towards that purpose, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Also, Jennifer Walker is going to get recruited into the grant writing. Yeah, so
No
aside.
good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah, aside from that, just working with Lily on those insurance claims, and then we'll take the next steps once we find out what is and is not going to be covered. Yeah, and I've still been taking a look at, once we get a little more stabilized after these hurricane grants are starting to close out, then we'll be taking a look at technology. And picnic tables are still, I'm sure those aren't any better off after the hurricane, so that's definitely something that we want to take a look at as well.
One other thing, in the area of grants, we had a chat about technology and looking into Apple related tech grants. Yeah, that would be a good area that would be helpful from a technology standpoint. Okay, all right, so I'll just give a little update on the development committee. So we are moving our meeting up. We're gonna have it on Thursday, the 14th at 11:30. So within there, again want to thank and just show my appreciation for all those families that donated to our post-Milton fund. I mean, that 11.5K was amazing and done in a very short period of time. And then for annual giving, we're coming towards the end of our first cycle, and we should land around 20K. We're at like 19.5 right now. And so we had a meeting, Stephen and I, about looking at what we're going to kind of focus on for 2025, and that will be on upgrading our technology that's coming out of warranty. And so our goal is 30K, which seems doable if we keep on that trajectory. And so our Giving Tuesday is December 3rd this year. We did get Wawa donated hot beverage coupons again, which helpful to kind of hand out on that day as we inspire people to give to the campaign. So yeah, so we're getting the committee together on Thursday to just kind of get all of that ready to go, because we just have like a few weeks until that launches. So that would including updating the messaging on our donation page as well as our Zephy forms. We also are going to talk a little bit more about, we've been discussing like an event for our higher end donors. I did get quotes the last time we spoke. Toll Road Brewery was something that came up. The lowest cost for just the space and drinks was over $1,000 for like a Tuesday night. And that does not include food. And so another thing that the team will talk about on Thursday is that we did receive a Total Wine donation, where they have a 20-person wine tasting, which is a 2-hour event. You can add 10 people to that, and that would be $30 a head. And then you could just bring in your own food. And so it's more of a like interactive, and they have a screen there. You can do whatever you want. I spoke to the lady as far as like the evening is yours, it's your event. And then you just include like the wine tasting part of it, as much as, you know, you want her to talk, which, you know, we can build around it.
Yeah.
So very much more of affordable, smaller audience. So it'd be, you know, looking at our highest donors for that event. But then Stephen and I brainstormed a more inclusive event as well that we can continue to think about, which would be like a low cost spaghetti dinner. So lots of ideas.
I like it.
But that one would be, yeah, just low budget on
I want to
campus.
see Heather spin a story around growing grapes and how that turned, you know, really growing students. all this stuff.
I could do it.
They've got room for some vineyards.
Absolutely.
Yep. So that's any questions?
Where would we do that?
The total
Here.
one? Which one?
No, the spaghetti dinner.
Oh, that's that was a very preliminary conversation, but yeah, I think we discussed it could
It
be
would be
here.
awesome to show off how wonderful our 18 acres is, just absolutely gorgeous here.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, as we get into some better weather. You know, that's not a really good July activity. When we look at like January, February, March, when it's actually pretty, the campus, have everybody here and celebrate this school, I think would be awesome.
Cool.
Preliminary discussion.
Very preliminary, yeah. We don't have a recipe or anything yet.
A challenge out there to some of the community to bring your best spaghetti recipes.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, Stacy. So do we have any other updates? I know there was like is there kind of an ad hoc committee on data?
Yeah, we haven't met yet, so
Okay.
very few updates.
Okay.
No worries.
All right, Stacy, then I guess it's over to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just skimming through and seeing if there's anything else on there that we have. I sent each of you a little message in LinkedIn if you want to share out just with the posting from Indeed that, you know, spread the word. So you can either grab it from my page. I think I had most of you on there that I sent that to. So just go ahead and share that out so we can help to get the school fully up and running with all of our teachers, right? So that will be beneficial. But But I think that we are, we're coming into our Thanksgiving season. We're about to have our little fall fest and or our Friendsgiving, our little our meals with our kids at school. So I'm super excited for the kids. I know they've been working really hard, and the teachers have been working really hard to just keep them on track and get them back up and running after a couple of hurricanes. So appreciate everybody's time and effort. And I hope everybody enjoys their holidays. We will not reconvene until January. There'll be no meeting in December. So if any questions come up or anything comes out, and feel free to reach out to us, but enjoy the holiday season with your families.
Thanks,
Thank
Stacey.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, so 7:46, we will adjourn. Thank you all.
Bye, guys.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.